You know, folks, we spend our whole lives looking at each other, trying to figure each other out. We think we know what people are thinking, what they're feeling, just by looking at them. But what if I told you there's more to it than meets the eye? The eyes are not only the windows to the soul, but they also reveal fascinating psychological insights. We're talking subconscious cues, involuntary responses, things that give away more than words ever could. So buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the psychology of the peepers with 7 shocking psychological facts seen through the eyes. Now, you ever notice how someone's eyes seem to sparkle when they're interested in you? It's like there's a hidden message in those glimmers, a secret language that only the eyes can speak. That ain't just a figure of speech, folks. It's a real, tangible phenomenon that happens right before our eyes. When we're attracted to someone, our pupils dilate, get bigger. This isn't just some random occurrence, it's a physiological response deeply rooted in our biology. It's a physiological response to arousal, plain and simple. Our bodies are wired to react this way, sending signals that we're interested, engaged, and maybe even a little bit excited. And here's the kicker: we pick up on those dilated pupils subconsciously, even if we're not aware of it. Our brains are processing this information, influencing how we feel about the other person. We see them and it influences how we perceive the other person. It's like our brains are hardwired to respond to these subtle cues, making us more attuned to the emotions and intentions of those around us. We're naturally drawn to those big, dilated pupils. They signal openness, interest, and a certain level of vulnerability that we find appealing. It's like a primal signal saying, hey, this person's interested. It's a non-verbal cue that can speak volumes, often louder than words ever could. Now, this dilation ain't always about romantic attraction. It can happen in a variety of situations, not just when we're feeling the love vibes. It can be triggered by anything that gets us going, whether it's a beautiful sunset, a delicious meal, or even a stimulating conversation. Our pupils respond to anything that captures our interest and excites us. Or even a stimulating conversation. It's a universal response to things that make us feel alive and engaged. But one thing's for sure, those pupils don't lie. They are an honest reflection of our inner state, revealing our true feelings and reactions. They're a dead giveaway of what's really going on inside. Whether we're excited, intrigued, or deeply moved, our eyes will always give us away. So next time you're wondering if someone's into you, take a closer look at their eyes. Pay attention to those subtle changes, the way their pupils react. Those pupils will tell you everything you need to know. They are the window to attraction, revealing the unspoken truths that lie beneath the surface. Ever feel like you can tell what someone's thinking just by watching their eyes move? Well, you might be onto something. See, our eye movements are closely linked to our thought processes. When we look up, we're often accessing visual memories. Looking down to the right can indicate we're tapping into our emotions, while looking down to the left might mean we're having an internal dialogue with ourselves. And then there's the classic sideways glance. Now, this one can be a little tricky. Sometimes it means someone's being shifty, trying to hide something. But it can also just mean they're trying to access a different part of their brain, searching for the right words. The key is to look at the whole picture, the context of the conversation, their body language. But one thing's for sure, those eye movements are giving us valuable clues about what's going on inside that head of theirs. Now, we all know eye contact is important. It's how we connect with each other, show that we're present, that we're listening. But did you know that maintaining good eye contact can actually build trust? Studies show that when people maintain eye contact during a conversation, it creates a sense of connection, of intimacy. It makes us feel like the other person is really seeing us, hearing us. It's like they're fully present in the moment, valuing what we have to say. But here's the catch: too much eye contact can backfire. It can come across as aggressive, confrontational. It's like you're challenging the other person, making them feel uncomfortable. It's like that old saying, don't stare, it ain't polite. Staring can make people feel uneasy, like they're being judged or scrutinized. On the flip side, too little eye contact can make us seem shifty, untrustworthy. It's like we're hiding something, like we're not being truthful. When we avoid eye contact, it sends a signal that we're not confident, that we're unsure of ourselves or what we're saying. So, what's the magic formula? How do we strike the right balance? Well, it's all about finding that sweet spot, that balance between engagement and respect. You want to make eye contact, but you don't want to stare them down. It's a delicate dance, but it's one worth mastering. Practicing good eye contact can enhance your relationships, build trust, and improve communication. So next time you're in a conversation, remember to be mindful of your eye contact. It's a powerful tool that, when used correctly, can make a world of difference. Whether you're talking to a friend, a colleague, or a stranger, the way you use your eyes can speak volumes. So keep it natural, keep it respectful, and watch how it transforms your interactions. Chapter 4, Eyes Don't Lie. Decoding Microexpressions. You know, sometimes our mouths say one thing, but our eyes tell a whole different story. Our eyes are incredibly expressive, and they often reveal our true feelings before we even have a chance to process them ourselves. We're talking about microexpressions, those fleeting facial expressions that last for a fraction of a second. They happen so fast, we're often not even aware of them. But our subconscious picks up on them, loud and clear. A sudden widening of the eyes could signal surprise or fear. Squinting can indicate anger or disgust. And then there's the classic eyebrow flash, that quick raise of the eyebrows that we do when we see someone we like. These micro-expressions are like little leaks from our emotional subconscious. They're hard to control, and they can give us a glimpse into what someone's really thinking and feeling. Chapter 5. The visual cliff babies, depth perception, and innate fear. Now, this next one's a real head-scratcher. It's one of those things that makes you stop and think about the incredible complexity of human development. You ever wonder how babies develop their sense of depth perception? It's not something we often think about, but it's a crucial part of how we interact with the world. I mean, they're born with these tiny little eyes, and it takes a while for their vision to fully develop. In the first few months, their vision is quite blurry, and they can only see objects that are close to them. Well, researchers came up with a fascinating experiment called the visual cliff. This experiment was designed to test whether depth perception is an innate ability or something that we learn through experience. They created a platform with a checkerboard pattern on it, and then they created the illusion of a drop-off by using a piece of clear glass. The checkerboard pattern continued on the other side of the glass, making it look like there was a sudden drop. They then placed babies on the platform and encouraged them to crawl across. The idea was to see if the babies would perceive the drop-off as a danger and refuse to crawl over it. Now here's the crazy part. Even though the babies could feel the glass beneath their hands, they refused to crawl over the cliff. This suggests that they perceived the drop-off as a real danger, even though they had no prior experience with heights or falling. This experiment shows that our understanding of depth perception of danger is deeply ingrained in us. It's not just something we learn from experience, it's a fundamental part of how our brains are wired. It's not something we learn through experience, it's something we're born with. This innate fear of heights likely evolved to keep us safe from falling, which would have been a significant danger for our ancestors. Our eyes are wired to perceive depth, and our brains are wired to react to it with caution. This fascinating interplay between our sensory perception and our instinctive reactions is just one example of the incredible complexity of human development. It reminds us that even as babies, we have an innate understanding of the world that helps keep us safe. Chapter 6. Judging by the color of your eyes. The science of subconscious bias. Now, I know what you're thinking. Dr. Phil, you're not going to tell me that eye color determines our personality, are you? And the answer is not exactly. But here's the thing. Our subconscious minds are powerful things, and they pick up on all sorts of subtle cues, including eye color. Studies have shown that people with lighter eyes, like blue or green, are often perceived as more approachable, more trustworthy. On the other hand, folks with darker eyes, like brown or black, might be seen as more dominant, more assertive. Now, this ain't about actual personality traits, it's about perception. It's about the way our brains are wired to make snap judgments based on visual cues. It's like how we associate certain colors with certain emotions. So, while eye color doesn't dictate who we are, it can influence how others see us, at least initially. Chapter 7. Catching a liar. Can you spot the telltale eye movements? Now, this is the one you've all been waiting for, right? We all want to know how to spot a liar, and it turns out our eyes might hold the key. You see, when people lie, they often exhibit certain telltale eye movements. They might avoid eye contact, blink more frequently, or even look up and to the left for right-handed folks when they're trying to recall a memory. Now, I'm not saying that every time someone looks away, they're lying. But these eye movements, combined with other behavioral cues, can give us valuable clues about someone's truthfulness. Of course, there are always going to be those master manipulators out there, the ones who can lie without batting an eye. But for the rest of us, those shifty eyes might just give us away. Oh, trow the eyes have it. So there you have it, folks. The eyes aren't just windows to the soul, they're complex organs that reveal a wealth of information about our thoughts, feelings, and even our deepest fears. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the science of attraction to the art of deception. But the most important takeaway is this: pay attention to the eyes. So next time you look into someone's eyes, remember there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. They might just hold the key to unlocking the mysteries of the human mind.